starting from the lost spring. So the first question is, who was Sahib? Who was Sahib and what was he doing and why? So Sahib was a young boy of school going age. He was looking for gold in the garbage. And basically it was not the garbage, it was the garbage dumps. So Sahib was a young schoolboy of school going age. He was finding gold in the garbage dumps of the big city. He has left his home, Dhaka, and come to the big city of searching living. He has nothing else to do but track pics. But promises like mine abound in every corner in his black world. Promises does the author recall? In what context was it made? Was it fulfilled? The author asked Sahib about going to school. Sahib explained that there was no school in his neighborhood. He promised to go to school if they start building one. Half joking, the author asked whether he would come to school in case she started one. Sahib smiled and agreed to come. After a few days, he ran up to author and asked if the school was ready. The author felt embarrassed. She had made a promise that was not meant. What is the meaning of Sahib's full name? Does he know it? How does he how does he conduct himself? His full name is Sahib e Alam. It means the Lord of the Universe. He does not know his name's meaning. If he knew, he would hardly believe it. He roams in the streets barefoot with the rag pickers. The army of barefoot boys appear in the morning and disappears at the noon. How does the author focuses on the perpetual state of poverty of the children not wearing footwear? The author notices that most of the young children engaged in the rag picking are not wearing footwear. Some of them have not even not chappals. Others were to wear the shoes. Some say it was tradition to stay barefoot. The author it seems the lack of money, poverty forces them to walk without footwear. Describe the Arni in Sahib's name. His real name was Sahib e Alam, it means the Lord of the Universe, but he has no idea of his name. He looked for gold in the garbage dumps, and the author lives in his neighborhood. In 1971, he came from Bangladesh with his mother. His house was well set in the green fields of Dhaka, but storms devastated his house and fields and forced him to leave his motherland. In Delhi, he had become a rag picker. Where does the author find Sahib one morning? What explanation does the Sahib offer? The author finds Sahib standing in the fenced gate of neighborhood club. He was watching two young men dressed in white playing tennis. Sahib says he likes the game but he is content to watch. He has no he goes inside when no one is there in the ground. He uses the swings there. What the job did Sahib take up? Was he happy? Sahib took up the job at the tea stall, but he was not happy with it. He was no longer his own master. His face had lost the carefree look, although he earned rupees 800. Even there, he was not satisfied. How has a dream come true for Sahib, but what is out of his reach? Sahib is wearing discarded tennis shoes. One of them has a hole. Sahib does not worry about the hole. He didn't bother about the hole for one who has walked barefoot. Even the shoes with the hole. His dream come true. But tennis, the game he's watching so intently, is out of his reach. How does Sahib's life change when he starts working at the tea stall? Sahib now has a regular income. He is paid rupees 800 in all his meals. Thus, food is no problem. But his face has lost the careful look. The steel canister in his hand seems a burden. He is no longer his own master. He may have he may he may have to work for longer time. The helplessness of doing things his own master makes him sad. Who is Mukesh? What is his dream? Why does he look like Miraj amidst this dust? Mukesh is the son of poor bangle maker in Firozabad, where every other family is engaged in making bangles. His poor father has failed to renovate his house or send his two sons to school. Mukesh insists on being his own master. His dream is to be motor mechanic. He wants to drive and repair the cars. Given the conditions of existence, his dream looks like mirage amid the dust. What do you learn about the Firozabad from this chapter? Firozabad is famous for the glass bangles. It is the center of India's glass blowing industry. Families have spent generations working around the furnaces, welding the glass, making the bangles. For all the women in the land, even every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making the bangles. Now it's question number 12. Born in the Born in the caste of bangle makers, they have seen nothing but bangles. Where do they see bangles? Children like Mukesh are born in the caste of bangle makers. They know no other work. They see bangles in the house, in the yard, in every other house and every other yard, every street. About the spirals of bangles lie in the mounds in the unkept yards. They are piled on four-wheeled carts. What contrast do you notice about the colors of the bangles and the atmosphere of the place where these bangles are made? The bangles are of every color born out of the seven colors of the rainbow. These are sunny gold, paddy green, royal blue, pink, purple, and many more. Boys and girls who work in dark apartments next to the flickering flames of the oil lamps, furnaces, blowing glass, welding, and soldering it to make the bangles. But are the most bangle makers ignorant of what would happen if the law were enforced strictly? Most of the bangle makers are ignorant about the fact that employing children in the bangle making industry is illegal. This is a hazardous industry, and many children become blind before reaching their adulthood. If the law was enforced strictly, 20,000 children would be released from working hard throughout the day and at the hot furnaces with high temperatures. Where is Mukesh's house located? But why was he proud of? What was he proud of? Mukesh's house was built in a slum area. The lanes stink with the garbages. Their homes, there are hovels with crumbling walls, wobbly doors, and no windows. These are the crowded with families of humans and animals. Most of these houses are shacks or huts. Mukesh is proud that his house is being rebuilt. His eyes shine as he volunteers to take up the author to his home. What impression do you form about the Mukesh family on having the glimpse of their house? Mukesh house is a half-built shack with a wobbly door. On a part of it is thatched with dead grass. There is a fire. Firewood stoves, finished leaves, and sizzling in large vessel. Most chopped vegetables lie on the aluminium platter. The eyes of the frail young woman are filled with smoke, but she smiles. The scene depicts the grinding poverty, but contentment with their lot. Give a thumbnail of the sketch of frail young woman in the chapter The Lost Spring. The young woman is the wife of Mukesh's elder brother. Her eyes are filled with smoke of firewood. Though not much older in years, she commands respect to the daughter-in-law of the house. She adheres to customs and traditions. She veils her face before the male elders. She gently withdraws herself behind the wall to do so. How would you regard Mukesh father's life and achievement? Mukesh father was born in the caste of Bengal makers. His father went blind with the dust of polishing the glass of Bengals. He is an old and poor Bengal maker. He has worked hard for long years, first as tailor, then as a Bengal maker. He had failed to renovate a house or send his two children to school. Savita is a symbol of innocence and efficiency. Comment. Savita is a young girl. She has put on the dress on the draping dress. She is soldering the piece of glass. Her hands move mechanically like the tongues of machine. She is innocent as she is ignorant about the scarcity of the bangles, and she helps to make them. What do the bangles symbolize when, according to the author, will Savita know the sanctity of the bangles? She helped to make her. How is the Indian bride dressed? Savita symbolizes auspiciousness in marriage of her. Bangles symbolize auspiciousness in marriage for an Indian woman. Savita will come to know the sanctity of the bangles. When she becomes a bride, the head of bride is draped with red veil. Her hands are dyed with red henna. Her red bangles are rolled onto her wrists. She has bangles on her wrist, but no light in her eyes. What exactly the author want to convey through this? She is an elderly woman who became bright long ago, since her husband, an old man with flowing beard, is alive. She still has bangles on her wrist. She has, however, not enjoyed even a full meal in her entire lifetime. So there's no light in her eyes. It is just a comment on the it is just a comment on the abject poverty and helplessness of the bangle makers. The young man echo the lament of his elders. What do you think the common complaint? How it has affected their lives? The bangle makers of the Firozabad are quite poor. They do not have enough money to do so anything except carry on their business of bangle making. Some even don't have enough to pacify their hunger. Building a house home for the family is an achievement for them. Years of mind-numbing toil have killed all the initiatives and the ability to dream. Why do the bangle makers not organize themselves in a cooperative? Most of the young bangle makers have fallen into the traps of the middlemen. They also afraid of the police. They know that if the police will hold them, beat them, and drag them to the jails for doing illegal. There is no leader among them to help them to see the things differently. Their fathers are equally tired. They can do nothing except carrying their own inherited business. Which two indistinct world does the author notice among the bangle makers industry? The families of the bangle making industry belong to one of these worlds. The workers are caught in the web of poverty. They also burdened by the stigma of the caste. Stigma means kalank. Stigma of the caste in which they are born. They know no other work. The other world is the vicious circle of the moneylenders, the middlemen, the policemen, the keepers of the law, the bureaucrats, and the politicians. How is Mukesh different from the other bangle makers of Firozabad? Mukesh is quite different from other bangle makers of Firozabad because he has courage to take initiative and break from the traditional family occupation. He has strength and power also. He has strong willpower. He insists on being his own master on becoming a motor vehicle mechanic. What do you think? Theme of the Lost Spring stories of the children. The theme of the chapter is the grinding poverty and the traditions which condemn poor children to a life of exploitation. The two stories taken together depict the plight of plight of the street children forced into labor early in life and denied the opportunity of schooling. The collapse of the opportunity and the political class only adds to the sufferings of these poor people. Garbage to them is the gold. Explain how do the rap kickers of Simapur survives? Answer in 120 to 150 verse. The rag pickers live in Simapuri, which is a settlement of more than 10,000 right clickers. It is a place on the outskirts of Delhi. Those who lived here are the squatters who came from Bangladesh in 1971. They live here without an identity, without the permits. They have the ration cards, and which enables them to vote and buy grains. Food is more important for them than their identity. Children grow up becoming partners in rag picking, though the years it has acquired the proportions of fine art. An army of barefoot children appear in the morning with their plastic bags on their shoulders. They disappear by noon. Garbage has a different meaning for children. For them, it is wrapped in wonder. This may find they may find a 10 rupee note, silver coin, or gold sometimes. For children, it is wrapped in wonder. For elders, it means the survival. What kind of life do the rag pickers of Simapur lead? Answer. All India 2017 set one question. Simapur is a settlement of rag pickers. It is a place on the outskirts of Delhi. Those who lived here are the squatters who came from Bangladesh in 1971. They live here without any identity and permits. They do have ration cards and which enable them to vote and buy the grains. Food is more important than their identity. Children grow up becoming partners in survival, and survival in Simapur means rag picking. So children grow up becoming partners in rag picking. Though the years it has acquired the proportions of fine art. An army of barefoot appear in the morning with the plastic bags on their shoulders. They disappear by noon. Garbage has different meaning for the children and elders. For children, it is wrapped in wonder. They may find rupee, even 10 rupee note, silver coin. There's always finding more. But Simapuri is a hell. Rag pickers live in structure of mud. They have roofs of tin and tarpaulin. There is no sewage, drainage, running water. It is unimaginable that it is a part of Delhi. Then, what are the dreams of the poor like Sahib, Alam, and Mukesh? Could these be realized? What are the reality of the situation? Poor pickers like Sahib spent early years of their lives looking for gold in the garbage dumps. The parents of these street children have no fixed income. They wage war against poverty and hunger. They have no dreams except finding the means of survival. Garbage to them is the gold. It is the source. It is the source of their bread and provides to the roof over their heads. He ends up as servant at the tea stall and loses his freedom. Mukesh, the son of poor bangle maker of Firozabad, has a dream of becoming a motor mechanic. He wants to learn to drive a car and repair them. He thinks of joining a garage to fulfill his dream. He knows that the garage is far away, yet he has decided to walk. He realizes the reality and is willing to overcome the obstacles. He is daring to rise and design and decision to get free from the trap laid by the vicious moneylenders and the middlemen and the politicians arouse a sense of hope. Deprived of education, proper food, and upbringing, these children are forced into labor early life. Firozabad Firozabad presents a strange paradox. Contrast the beauty of the glass-paying girls of Firozabad with the misery of the people those who produce them. Firozabad, the center of India's glass blowing industry, is famous for its bangles. Spirals of bangles around the various colors can be seen lying in the mounds of in yards or piled on four-wheeled pushcarts. The bangles have shining bright colors like sunny gold, paddy green, royal blue. Colors sunny gold, paddy green, royal blue, pink, purple. In fact, every color which is born out of the seven colors of the rainbow. The Bengal makers lead a miserable life. They had no other work than the Bengal making. They have neither courage nor money to start any other trade or job. They have spent generations in the clutches of the middlemen and moneylenders. Extreme poverty forces them to remain hungry and yet work all day. The elderly woman who works with Savita has not enjoyed even full meal in her entire life. Her husband has made a house for the family to live in. He has achieved what many have failed in their lifetime. Akesh's father had failed to renovate a house or sent his two sons to school. Young boys are As tired as their fathers, they work in hot furnaces, bring them, which often makes them blind prematurely. The question is, survival in Simapuri means rag picking and garbage is called to them. And for children, the garbage is wrapped in wonder. For elders, it's a meaning of survival. In the light of the above remarks, write an account of life and activities of rag pickers settled in Simapuri. Give brief account on the life and activities of Bangladeshi squatters like Sahib Alam settled in Simapuri. Simapur is a place on the periphery of Delhi, 8 miles away from from it metamorphologically. Squatters who came from Bangladesh way back in 1971 live here. Sahib family is one of them. Simapuri was then a wilderness. It is still, but no longer empty. Nearly 10,000 backpackers live in structures mud with roofs of tin and tarpaulin. These shades are devoid of sewage. These shanties are devoid of sewage, drainage, running water. The people who lived here for more than 30 years without identity or permits, they have got ration cards that enables them to buy grains and get their names on the voters list. For them, food is more important than identity for survival. The women put on tattered saris. They left their fields as they gave them no green. Their pit, they pitch their tents whatever they pitch their tents wherever they find the food. And the rack pickers are the sole means. Rack picking is the sole means of survival. It has acquired the proportions of fine art for them. Garbage is to them is good. It is gold. It provides them daily bread and roof over their heads. Most of the barefoot rack pickers roam the streets early in the morning and finish their activities by noon. They seem to carry the plastic bags slightly over their shoulders. They are clothed in discolored shirts and shorts and are denied the opportunity of schooling. So these were the main questions from the chapter The Law Spring. The Law Spring consists of the two parts. One is of the track picker about the Sahib Alam and the others track pickers which came, the 10,000 track pickers which came. And the second story is about the Mukesh, or it is main focusing on the Bengal makers of Firuzabad. That's all for now. Hope we'll meet in the next video soon. Do like, subscribe, and share the channel. Thanks. Bye bye.